Anybody who's owned a camera with interchangeable lens mount knows one thing: lenses are not cheap. So would you believe me if I told you that I'd got a lens that is a full frame mirrorless L mount lens for under $30? Well, you're watching it right now. How did we get here? I'm sure we've all seen the recent boom of the website called Temu. If not, this website is basically identical to wish.com, getting you massively discounted stuff what's manufactured out in China with questionable quality, to say the least, but it promises much faster delivery times. A friend told me about this website. I jumped on my phone and had a little browse, and just for fun I thought I would put the word L mount in the search box. And to my surprise, something actually showed up. This claimed to be an actual functioning L mount mirrorless lens for the cost of £21.70 in English money. I will put the dollar amounts on screen somewhere. We have all heard of the nifty 50 and all those cheap lenses what come in at like $100, $200. But for a lens to be manufactured and delivered here, all for under like $30, that is quite insane. And to be honest, I just didn't believe it. Just for the comedy aspect of it and just out of curiosity, I pressed buy, put in my address, and totally forgot about the whole thing. Around a week later, there was a knock on my door and my postman handed me a small parcel. When I opened this parcel, what I found inside was quite interesting. I will describe it. It's definitely better for me to show you than tell you. So let's jump into what I actually received. So this is how the lens arrived. Not the most luxury packaging, but what can we really expect here? Opening it up, I originally thought it was some kind of lens cap, but on closer inspection, if you look right there in the middle, you will see there is a small clip with a tiny bit of glass. This almost looks like it clips in and out, but from trying to prise it out, I could not seem to do it. We have some writing that says LM mount. We also have writing that says focus free, meaning you don't have to focus the lens, I'm guessing. It also says 32mm and 1:10 ratio. Is this like the magnification rate or like the focus distance? What's even more interesting is if you twist the front element, it comes apart from like a back element. It almost feels like it's an adapter with like another lens inside it. At first I was thinking, okay, so you just change the mount, and they sell like E-mount versions and RF mount versions. The next question is, does this even fit on a camera? You can tell it's a really bad machine to cut or print, 3D printed or whatever this thing is. It just turns really stiff. But to my surprise, once you get it on the camera, you do see an image. And there is no iris information. The lens doesn't quite know anything about the millimeters. It pops up saying, is this a 24mm? I just press no. There is no f-stop, as mentioned. There's nothing in camera. The camera basically does not understand it has any lens on it at all. For focus, as mentioned, it is just set to one point that is quite far away from the camera. So objects that are close to the camera can just never ever be in focus. Let's get into what this lens actually looks like. So here I've just pointed it at my lens test chart. There's some serious pin cuts and distortion going on if you look at the bars from the racks either side. It's also extremely soft and low contrast, as we'd expect. Bringing in my Lumix 18-35 f4, you can really see the light difference. If I turn down the light to compensate for the difference in f-stop, just so you can see the difference here, you can see the Lumix has way more contrast. Punching to 400%, you can just see that there is no contrast in the Temu lens. It is suffering from chromatic aberration, it's soft. It also has a cool blue cast when it comes to colours. What do I think of this lens? Well, first of all, this was all done for a bit of fun. And second of all, I've been sponsored by these guys. No, I'm joking. This lens I would not recommend to anyone. There is no link in the bio to buy this lens, as I do not recommend it. Maybe it would make a cool lens cap for your camera. Someone might find a cool use for this. That person is just not me. If you want to know what L mount lens I do recommend, click here.